Training back today. I trained I trained chest, shoulders, and tricep yesterday, but I had the speakers going in the background. And I think I gotta get some app that I gotta pay for or something, because I can't edit it with iMovie, and that's what I normally do, so. But whatever. Doing some back, and I'm gonna talk about the phase of training that I'm in a bit, but I'm just gonna warm up a little bit first on this pull down. You know, it's interesting, when it's really light, you almost can't really feel the muscle properly. You need a certain amount of weight on there to actually feel it properly. So I just did one set there. So I'm not going as heavy. I'm only gonna go up to 130, 140 pounds. Usually it's like 180 or 200. But I'm only gonna train 60, 70% today because I'm trying to heal my body. So I'm gonna stimulate without destroying it, basically. I think 50, 60, 70% effort maintains muscle mass for the most part. I normally train with straps too, but I'm using lighter weights, and honestly, with the straps, you can get too comfortable with it to where you're not even squeezing anymore. And when you take away the straps, you almost forget to grip, because when you're using straps, you can let go a little bit during the movement and you're not gonna let go. So it's actually nice to like retrain my grip here. So if you've got an injury, you wanna maintain muscle mass, probably 50, 60, or 70% effort is what you're gonna do. To let the muscle stay there, but heal the body. If you start pushing 80, 90%, it's never gonna heal. 30, 40% effort, you might lose muscle tissue. So there's a sweet spot in there. So 130 pounds, I'm gonna do maybe 12 of them, but it's probably around 70% effort. So if this pad isn't tight enough for you, you gotta push your calves into it to tighten it. Stay locked in. I'm not even sure how many that was. I just know that I pushed hard enough to maintain muscle in my back. And that's all there really is to it. So normally I would go to this I don't know if you can see it. This machine right there. That guy. But since there's a chest pad on there, it's gonna irritate my sternum. So I've had to modify my workouts to not put stress on my sternum. The most amount of stress is gonna be, I mean, I guess it could be a row, but chest exercises, specifically presses or dips, I just go lighter on it. That's really it. Lighter and maybe a little bit more reps. So I'm gonna go on to do some one arm rows. What's interesting about this one arm row that I'm doing is that I never do one arm rows ever. One arm rows and concentration curls, the two exercises that I've never really done. Just never found a reason to do them. I liked other exercises better, to the point where I didn't even try it even one time. But I'm forced to do it now. So definitely more lower back than I thought. I just thought this arm, if you held yourself with the other arm, that it wouldn't be that much lower back, but just a good amount of lower back. And it's a good exercise. So I think one thing that people get too in their head about when it comes to training their lats specifically is, so let's say I'm here, right? And I want to row. They get so in their head about keeping their elbow tight and their shoulder down that they get paralyzed and they use 20 pounds and they don't pull their shoulders back that much because they don't want to get upper back, but you have to pull your shoulder back to fully shorten your lat. Like you're already in a position to use a lot of lats. So just pull your shoulders back. Yes, you can think about keeping your shoulders down, but don't overanalyze. So anybody that's trying to heal an injury, you got to ask yourself, how long did it take for that injury to occur? Not when did you actually get hurt. It took time. Something built up. It didn't just happen in one workout. It took weeks, maybe it took months. If it took months, then it might take months for it to go away. So when you find yourself in a spot where you're saying, is this thing ever gonna go away? It's been 2 weeks. Well, it took a lot more time than 2 weeks for it to happen. So maybe it's gonna take 8 weeks, 10 weeks, I don't know. But for me, I think it's been, I actually don't know, maybe seven weeks or so, something like that. But I was still training hard in the beginning. I just recently noticed that I have to back off a little bit more to let it heal, and I'm not gonna lose any muscle tissue. So. So, if you have a weaker side, so I'm a lefty, so I start with my right side, mainly. If you have a weaker side, do it first. If you're gonna do a single arm exercise, or a single leg exercise, single arm exercise, doesn't matter. Do it first, so you get the most amount of focus on it mentally, and you're just more fresh. It's crazy. I went through a time where, since I'm a lefty, I thought my right side of my body was smaller. And I focused so much on my right side that at some point I realized that my left side was smaller. It's kind of funny. So now I start with my left side for legs. But for my upper body, my right side is still a little smaller. I'm only using 45 pounds. Probably see people doing 80, 90, 100 pounds. But the way you execute something definitely matters. I mean, if I were to stand up on the rack, stand up a little bit higher, and just kind of throw it around a little bit, then I can use a lot more weight. But again, I just recently started doing this exercise, and I've been lifting for like 10 years. So I gotta learn the movement. I'm not pushing as hard. I'm not really attacking the set. So all that combined, I only really use 45 pounds for this. So we're gonna do, or I'm gonna do, some bent over rows. So while I'm in this healing phase, I don't want to lose any lower back strength. I think that's pretty important. So I am doing barbell squats, but 155 pounds for 15 is what I did a couple days ago. I'm doing it super slow and isolated for my quads, all that, not really attacking it like crazy. So, but I like that exercise for lower back, spine, loading. And then I'll do these bent over rows as well. So I made a video on why I stopped full body and went to push-pull legs, but I didn't like it, so I deleted it. But basically, there's only so much you can recover from. And if you're not recovering, the stimulus that you're sending in the gym doesn't matter. It's kind of like you have a wound on your arm, and it's healing, and then you pick at it, and then it resets it. That was kind of like what the full body was for me. So for me, push-pull legs or upper lower is better. I mean, I could do full body, it's just your recovery has to be perfect, which means your sleep, basically, for me. And also, I enjoy doing push-pull legs more. I like the idea of going in knowing that I'm training chest, shoulders, tricep. I mean, it's all the same type of thing, you know, like it's all push. Today I'm doing back, and then I got biceps after. So I like that mindset when I go into the gym, you know? So doesn't mean I'm not gonna try full body again, but it's just something that I've noticed. So this is how I'm breaking down my back exercises. And that's how I've been doing it for a while, a couple years. So basically, my first exercise the pull down is for my lats. Every back exercise you're gonna do trains your back and your traps. That's really the main two muscles in your back. You have your rhomboids as well, which elevate your scapula and retract it a little bit as well. Kind of like if you were to do a dumbbell shrug, not just up, but it's up and back. It's harder to do with a barbell. And they get trained in a bent over row as well, heavily. So whenever I train my lats, I'm just thinking lats and lower trap, because they kind of do the same thing. Scapula down and in. So that could be pull down, that can be a one arm row, but I like the idea of hitting it from two different angles. And then I do my upper back with the bent over row or a supported T-bar row. And then I do a rear delt, the reverse pec fly, and then some biceps. I really try not to overcomplicate it. I have overcomplicated it before, but lats, humerus down and in. So if I were to grab two cables and pull it down like that, it's gonna be a lot of lats and pec, but it's not an efficient way to load the lats, to me. So this, you can drive a lot of tension. And I can tell you what these problems have been caused by. It's been caused by never taking a break, pretty much. You know, just pushing. I think as like a hardcore bodybuilder, lifestyle person, whatever you want to call it, you want to push. And you think that's going to make you better than everybody else. And you kind of like that mindset and you thrive in that mindset of pushing when things aren't perfect. But I think at some point you have to come to a realization that it's kind of stupid. It doesn't make sense. It's a very short-term focused mindset. You got to think long-term. You know, next couple of months of healing for years of good training. So if you're wondering where I'm training at, it's a private location, private gym. Parents have a personal training facility here, one-on-one and group personal training. So I'm here to train. Once in a while I go to LA Fitness. There's some other cool gyms around here too, but LA is the closest one. So, probably had a couple more left there. Some exercises I'm pushing a little bit harder than others, but it's not that big of a deal. 50, 60, 70%, probably 60, 70% effort on most things. So, if I were to do a preacher curl on this angle, and I would do it like this, right? So right here is the maximum load because the gravity is straight up and down right here. At some point, it's coming towards me. I find this angle, it drops off way too much. So if I go like this, come down, let's say that's 100% or a little bit lighter at the very bottom, but I get a more consistent loading. It's sometimes you can take this whole science thing too far, but there's some things that you can take from it to make your training better. Just don't overanalyze. You start to not even like training at some point. So, like for example, if you want to do a certain exercise, but science says it's not as good, do the exercise. You want to do it. So, hopefully it's decent. Hopefully it's not a fucking shit exercise. You gotta use your brain a little bit. So, I'm trying not to push on this either, because my sternum. You could try turning away and doing it as well, which I've done a lot actually. But for now, I'm doing it this way, facing more forward. So, I'm not even sure if that was the same amount on each arm. I just know the last rep looked pretty similar, so. It was slow, but it wasn't super strenuous. I wasn't holding my breath like crazy. Just enough to stimulate the biceps. I'm gonna hit one more exercise. Classic standing barbell curls with a straight bar. So basically, in simple terms, I'm using maybe 60 to 70% of the weight, and I'm doing similar reps. So I'm choosing to use lighter weights and around the same amount of reps, maybe slightly higher reps, than using the same weight and doing 6 or 7 reps instead of 10. what I'm doing for my body weight, I'm just keeping it the same. Low 160s right now. Not dieting down, not pushing my body weight up, just maintaining. I think if I were to push my body weight up, it would be a little bit useless right now. I'm not really stimulating more muscle growth, and I'm not sure if it's doing much more for my recovery. And then when I do want to train hard again, I'm fat. So that's not what I want. So keeping the body weight the same, and just really switching my mindset from progressing in the gym to progressing in recovering my body. So it took a mindset change, but I'm in a good spot with it now. So if you're in that same spot, you gotta convert your mindset and just understand that this is it's the long game. It's not about the next couple of months.